Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 4 of the Platinum Racing League Series MX5. We're excited for this evening's racing. A track with 17 turns located at Alton, 2.69 miles long. The people that know this track know what I'm talking about. We're at Alton Park this evening, and I'm joined this evening by my man Jake in the commentary booth. Yeah, looking forward to this evening. The drivers have shown us in previous rounds that it's an absolutely amazing spectacle, these cars to race with, and yeah, looking forward to see more of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
You're not
they've
talking. Well
they've
then,
definitely shown us.
let's bring Jake into the booth. He was talking a little bit too early. Jake, welcome. You're definitely
Thanks.
eager to get to work.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dan. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, definitely in the past, especially round one is the one that highlights me the most. You know, when we were so curious to see what the drivers could do in these cars, and then they just packed us in with two full races of pure excitement. So, Alton Park, quite a tricky one. So I'm looking forward to see what the drivers can do out on track today.
It's definitely a track that provides some good racing, as we've seen in the past. It's a track that is built in 1953. Is currently hosting three of the most biggest British races. We're under one bike race. It's hosting the Superbike Championship every year. The GT Championship, of course, the British GT
Yeah.
Championship, and the British Touring Car Championship. So a lot of great events go on this track every year, um, as is our PRL MX5 series now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm surprised F4 aren't on there. I'm pretty sure they used to race at this track at one point. But yeah, it seems like a track that would suit F4s quite a bit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can do as a Demon Tweak sponsored car there.
We have currently 3 or 2 and a bit minutes left of free practice. I will quickly go over last week's results. We had, of course, out at Summit Point, a very chaotic race. Something went wrong with the servers, so we had to go into a new one. Everything that, of course, happens, but hey. We will go over the results of last week. In qualifying at Summit Point, it was John Sylvester taking pole position ahead of Stephen Bird. Christian Novak was in third, and the gap from P1 to P10 was only 6.5 tenths of a second. So if that tells us anything, that tells us that it's going to be pretty close this evening. Race 1 was won by Christian Novak. He came from P3. Stephen Bird in second. He stayed where he was. Milo Speelman, though, in P3. So John Sylvester not really bringing that pole position into a victory. Race 2, though, Stephen Bird won, Tenoch Rodrigo in P2, and Christian Novak in P3. So John Sylvester, not having the best evening on terms of points, but he did definitely put in a brilliant lap in qualifying. And like I said, Jake, 6.5 tenths from P1 to P10. That is, it's going to be a close one.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, but we love to see that kind of close racing. It's always better, I think, to watch on. Maybe not so much for the drivers worrying where a car is every 10 seconds, but it's certainly so much better to watch really close racing than it is long distance ones.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think with this track, it provides some good racing in almost every race class. And talking about race 2, of course, last week, I don't know if you saw it, we had some drama at the end of race 2, of course, with the strategy and refueling. And Milo Speelman miscounted a little bit. His maths were off, I think, 100 meters, because he came to a halt 100 meters before the finish line in race 2. So strategy, definitely a big part of it as well.
Yeah, definitely these drivers will be looking to keep the car light, but also do that fuel management so that they have enough fuel in to actually finish the race. And that just sounds like pure heartbreak for for him.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting information that Christian Novak in race 2 got demoted. Probably because post-race penalties, as we come to the end of qualifying right now. But yeah, well, very, very close all around the field, as you can see in practice already. So we might see an even closer gap to P10 this evening.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, especially with this track being one that, you know, if you get a bit wrong, then you're off into the grass.
Yeah, it punishes mistakes very harshly, I think. You're not really
Yeah,
allowed
definitely.
to make any mistakes. Daniel Sedgley, though, this man in the Barbie car, he has proved himself, I think, last week. Came into the championship with some confidence and yeah. First of all, loving the livery, and he is fast as well. The schedule for tonight, Paul, is we will have a 15-minute qualifying, which is underway now. Then we will have a 15-minute race, and after that we have a 30-minute race with a pit stop that is mandatory, because you won't make it on the fuel that you have in the car. But hey, we have a championship to look at as well. We're going to take a look at that right now, as they pop up on your screen. Daniel Sedgley leading the championship ahead of Stephen Bird. 104 points, that's a gap, if my maths are right. And James in the chat knows that they are not always right, but our maths are right now at the moment. I think that is a gap of 12 points to the lead for Stephen Bird. Ivan Bramer behind that in P3, 76 points. Tinuk Rodrigo in 4th, Milos Speelman in 5th. 6th is Thomas Burling. 7th, John Sylvester on 61 points, together with Christian Novak. 57 for Miles Owen, Samuel Santos in 10th. 11, Martin Hobson on 51. 50 points for Steve Lowe. Tom Vos in 13th. I don't know if he's here tonight with us, but he had a brilliant round 1. We saw that, Jake, that he had a brilliant round 1. So looking forward, if he is here, to see him out again. Aaron Hobson in P14. Vincent Awesams in 15th. 16th, Josh File. 17th, Stephen Turner. 18th, Marnix Heister. Then in P19, we have Winston Eckel, Julian Altena, James, Tico Brink, Daniel Cavarlo, Tim, Simon van Dijk, and Jackson. They have all not taken a point nor raced in the series yet. That is your championship before tonight. And I think that's going to change quite a bit before we head into the end of tonight, James, doesn't it? Jake.
Yeah, it probably will do. I mean, if some drivers can get ahead of the others, like if second in the championship, you know, if it's all about points in this series. I mean, if you finish first in one race and then have a bad second race, you've ultimately lost all the first points that you gained, because other drivers, if they have a so if your championship rivals has a better race than you in race 2, then he's going to probably still either get ahead of you if he's behind you, or, you know, keep his lead if he was ahead of you in the first place. So it's quite important to think about championship points, which will definitely be on these drivers' minds for tonight.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you know, it's quite close as well, always at the top in qualifying. Qualifying, of course, we know you won't get any points for it.
Yeah.
But it will lead you into a very good position coming into race 1.
Yeah, definitely. For race 1, your qualifying position is very, very important and key to having a good race. Obviously, what happens at the start of the race or turn 1, whatever, you can't control, but having a good qualifying definitely sets you up for that first race. Second race, not so much, because it's reverse grid.
Yeah. Well, the thing, of course, is with qualifying, when you don't get any points, as we see now, Daniel says you go to 153.18, just behind them, Milos Speelman, and 153.339, so already pretty close.
Yeah, about 2/10 in that.
And what are you looking forward to for tonight, Jake? Because of course this is a track, like I said, that you can race at.
Probably how close it's going to be. I mean, obviously, I've done a few races here in the past, and it's such a tricky corner tricky track, sorry, to get right every corner. If you get it an inch wrong, you've either lost about half a second or you're off into the gravel and into the wall. Well, this is mainly grass, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing really close racing and seeing how drivers deal with such a tricky track going side by side.
And do you think that with it being so close, always in qualifying, do you think that the drivers will be able to, of course, stick in the slipstream, because the gap that is 6.5 tenths big? I think that is easily being brought back to around a tenth or 2 tenths in the slipstream that you lose every lap.
Yeah, probably. The guy in this series, you don't really want to be at the front. If I feel like the series is a bit like NASCAR, where you always want to be behind someone so that you can, get the slipstream ahead of them. But yeah, these cars definitely, especially since they're all the same, class and brand, they'll be all the same car shape. So the slipstream will be ever so important because these cars are going off mechanical grip as well. They will be, they'll be looking to get that slipstream.
Yeah. Track temperature, of course, is a big part of the lap times as well. As we see, Daniel actually improved to 153. Will we see him, you think, get into the 152s, the track temp that is 43 degrees?
Probably. I mean, he's quite close now. He's a 53.007. But I mean, if he finds some time, then he can hopefully get into the 52s. I'd say it's not going to be low 52s. It's probably going to be like mid or high 52s. But yeah, I reckon he can get into the 152s.
Well, it's definitely going to be close, it looks like. We've seen that this man, Steve Lowe, has some real good race pace. He came in to the championship not really knowing what to expect. But it looks like he has found his groove and has been improving ever since, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things, if you don't drive the car much, because if you've been promoted in iRacing, then these are rookie cars, and I haven't driven Mazdas in ages. I don't think. Then it's all about being used to the car, Dan. It's all about being, comfortable with the car, knowing its limits, and if you push it to the limit but not over it, then you can get up a really good race car with you.
Looking then at the times, as you can see, it's really, really close until P5. And then we get into the 154 for Steve Lowe. Of course, he will be improving now, as is Marnix says. A lot of people haven't set their lap times yet. We have, at the moment, 14 competitors out on track. It's a track that isn't really long, but it still is quite a... in these cars, a circuit that takes quite some time. As you can see, 153. It's a circuit with a lot of chicanes and slow corners in it.
Yeah, definitely. As James says, rookies, how dare you say that? I am not a rookie and I drive these. Well, James, obviously a lot of people drive what they want to, but as we get into the 52s, actually, Dan, 152.9.
Not the man I expected it from, to be honest.
No. But, yeah, I know, it's very rude of us, sorry. But, yeah, I mean, anyone can drive these at any time, but I'm just saying, over general view, is that these tend to be in rookie class, and then you once you get out of that, then you don't tend to drive them much. Dan, do you drive these cars much?
Well, I've had a chat with James yesterday because we were doing commentary on another MX5 league, and he said that there is one class that he has not ticked in his iRacing filters, and that is rookie, because he absolutely hates that class. He doesn't want to go down that far. So I think that quote was a little bit more rude than us calling him a rookie, because technically he's always playing down himself to be kind of a rookie with his iRating. We know he isn't. We know he's probably really quick, as all the other drivers are. But we racing drivers, or at least some, like to play it down a little bit to kind of, well, to kind of shock everyone once you get into a good position. Is that the way I want to say it? But yeah, I normally don't drive these cars. At the moment I don't drive iRacing too much, to be honest. I have really been enjoying other sims. But of course, when you do it, it's very enjoyable.
Yeah. I quite like these cars because when you take them on track, it feels more like a track day car. You know what I mean? Like, because all the other cars are built for proper racing, whereas these you can just take around, and it definitely handles a lot more um, punishment than most race cars that we drive on iRacing.
Oh yeah, it's a car that normally provides us with some good racing, and yeah, like you said, it's not really a build race car, so that's I think the reason why they all can stay so close.
James defending himself once again in chat. No, hold on, it's dangerous in rookies. Races are like banger race. Dan, what's
Well,
your view on that?
once you get into the A class and you get into the higher I ratings, you won't get put with rookies anymore. So you can actually race the rookie class, and you will have like 1 or 2 rookies in your split, and the rest is all drivers that want to do those races. The thing with those Mazda MX5 races in rookie is that they're so short, and if you get a 4X, your race is immediately done, and you're gonna lose I rating no matter what. And I think that's the thing that Jake or that James, messing up the names here, that James really hates, and I do agree with that.
I hate that as well.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
He is not he is wrong with that. It's a ping pong fest with being thrown around, because these Mazda MX-5 cars do allow that. But yeah, it is annoying that if you get a 4X that your safety rating is immediately going down. As you see now, Stephen Bird improving to a 152.728.
Yeah, so like I said, they're going to be doing high to mid 152s. Don't quote me on this, but I don't think anyone can get down to the 152.1 or 2.
Well, if anyone could, it's going to be one of the top 3 guys. And John Silvestre took pole position last week, as we see Teno Rodrigo come across the line. Is he going to improve his lap time? He is not. He stays in 3rd, which is still not a bad qualifying position. Not the best qualifying position, of course, but don't get me wrong, P3 is still a good position to start from.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The thing I think is with starting for P3 is that you have someone ahead of you that you need to take into account as well.
2 people ahead of you, yeah.
But
the thing though, Dan, you got to think, is if you're in pole position, you've got however many, like 13 or 14 other drivers right behind you that want your position. So, which position would you say more stressful to start in, P1 or P3?
P3, because you have someone ahead of you that you need to keep an eye on, and someone behind you. And we know that turn 1 sometimes can get a little bit messy. I hope these guys will keep it clean. They have done so far in this championship. So I'm looking forward to them keeping it clean once again. Christian Novak, though, he said that he might start from the back, but he has now joined the session, and this is going to be his first lap out. So he will set a lap time, so he will not be starting from the back. He's just on time to set a lap time. So time there for him. Coming in clutch, Sven Merckx as well. We see him join the championship. He is in 12th at the moment. And yeah, well, joining the championship, being 5/10 off of P11 Miles Owens, I think he needs to get to grips with the car at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, it's one of them things where if you're not comfortable with the car, you're not going to be performing at your best.
And of course, we do see him improve now. Let's see where he can jump up to. A 154.746 was his lap time. This lap time is going to be no better because he stays on a 154.746. We come to the end of qualifying almost. 1 minute 15 seconds to go. And I don't think that the time from Stephen Bird is going to be beaten. He is on pole position by 1.5 tenths now, and to find 1.5 tenths while you've already put in almost a magical lap, because to be honest, a 152.87 is almost a magical lap, then it's going to be very, very difficult. He has Teno Rodrigo just ahead of him. As we see now, Christian Novak come to the end of his lap. It is crucial that he doesn't get an off track on this time round, because he will not have time to complete another one. So it will be crucial for him to make this one count. If he can start anywhere further than P15, I think it will be a win for him. coming in so late. Let's see what he can do then. 20 seconds left in qualifying. Christian Novak jumps up to P9 with a 153.597. He will definitely be looking to improve that in the race. But yeah, he doesn't have time to improve it anymore in qualifying. Sven Merckx though, second to last in his first race for or in this PRL MX5 series. He will be looking to gain some position in the race, don't you think so?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first race are always one that, you know, you're trying to see where you are compared to the other guys. So yeah, he'll definitely be looking to improve.
Well then, we have the grid for you on screen. Stephen Bird will start on pole position with a 152.728. John Sylvester will start behind or next to him. Still behind him though. In second place. Denuk Rodrigo in third, fourth. Daniel Sedgley, Iwan Bremer in fifth. Sixth, Miro Speelman, seventh. Martin Hobson, eighth. Marnix Heister, Christian Novak in 9th, Aaron Hobson in 10th, Steve Lowe in 11th, 12th we have Thomas Burling, then we move on to P13, Miles Owens 14th, Sven Merckx, he will look to gain positions in his first race, and Samuel Santos will start from P15, he will round off the grid, only 2.1 seconds, the gap to P10 though, bigger than last week, almost a second. As we wait then for the drivers to grid up. They like to take their time doing this.
Keep the tyre temps.
Well, the tires are already on their coldest, I found out. So it isn't really going to make any difference. So we look then on board with John Sylvester. He's gonna come to the 5 red lights. Half a minute left. Gridding is not done yet. Drivers are still waiting. We are waiting currently on Marnix Heister. Samuel Santos on the back of the grid. We're waiting on him at the moment. So if he can jump on. Yes, he does. Gridding is now done. The 5 red lights. We're gonna be on in a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are on. They're out. And we are underway for race 1 this evening. And it's Stephen Bird with a good start alongside him. John Sylvester, maybe an even better one behind that. Denuk Rodrigo with a banger of a start. Denuk Rodrigo will look to gain some positions. Can he do so? No, he can't. John Sylvester trying the inside on Stephen Bird. Not really working out. We see the Barbie car from Daniel Sedgley side by side almost with Denuk Rodrigo. He now gains the position on John Sylvester. He gains that position back. A lot of juggling going on in the first 3 corners, Jake.
Yeah, definitely, and I thought that was contact going through there with the top 2, not top 2, sorry, P2 and 3, John Sylvester and Daniel. Definitely looked like they were very, very close going into that corner as we are now with Marnix Heister as he goes wide and gets it all wrong.
Oh, he goes round. Marnix Heister goes round and he causes a crash. I hope everyone can get through, but that is Marnix, I think, going to be done for race 1.
Yeah,
I
definitely
think that was just a little bit too much speed into Island Bend.
Yeah, I mean, you can't carry that much speed going around. And he was on the outside, and it's always the worst place to be, especially at this track. Like we said earlier, it's a track that doesn't handle mistakes very well.
Iwan Bremer, though, now looking to gain positions. Denuk Rodrigo in the number 1 car just ahead of him. Stephen Bird, though, got off to an absolute flyer. Already 6-7 tenths of a gap.
Yeah, I mean, it's closing now as we see the slipstream that we were talking about with John Sylvester. But it's good to see all these drivers making it cleanly through, well, most of them cleanly through most of the first lap, which is always good as there's a move going on further back. Christian Novak got ahead of Martin Hobson there. But yeah, it's been an amazing start so far and hope to keep it up. Oh, is there someone off?
We're going to take a look back at the incident from Marnix Heister. Here we have it. In the cockpit. Oh, we just go around. Here we have it once again in the cockpit. Oh, I don't think there was a touch. I think that's just oversteer into the corner. Very easy to do on cold tires, of course. And then the field, of course, passes him. Luckily, no one else involved in that. But I think that's Marnix Heister's first race done.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely looked like oversteer because there was no. When you watch these back, you can always tell if there's like a little bump of contact from behind. But yeah, that definitely looked like just a mistake on cold tires.
John Sylvester, though, within 2.5 tenths already into Island Bend. Is he going to be able to do something? Not really. As we look back, the pass, Ivan Bremer past Martin Hobson. Let's take a look at how that happened. Around the outside, into Britons. Is he going to be able to make this one stick? Oh, yes he is. Oh, getting very close to the back of Tenek Rodrigo there. Oh, that just about got through.
Yeah, that definitely got a bit of oversteer on the exit there of the chicane, but definitely a close one. And I thought there was going to be contact with him and the guy in front.
Well, it's definitely close up front now. John Sylvester not wanting to let Stephen Bird get away. Can he finally this week then get that second place converted into maybe a win or maybe second place? Because I can assure you that he's going to go for the win.
Yeah, definitely. All of these drivers, you're not a racing driver unless you want to, you know, win. So yeah, all these drivers, especially the top three who were very, very close in with the shot for it, are definitely going to be wanting to go for the win. But Stephen Bird, we've seen him pulling away so far, so hopefully, we might get some good defending from him.
John Sylvester, like I said, not wanting to let Stephen Bird get away. The thing for John Sylvester is he has Daniel Setchley, the championship leader, behind him as well. So he not only can attack, he also has to keep his eye firmly on his rear view mirror because he has the championship leader behind him.
Yeah, definitely an out of place position for the championship leader, Daniel. So, you know, he'll be Daniel will be looking to get up to P1 to keep his championship lead, but yeah, John Sylvester's going to have a lot of work to do.
And a little bit further back, it's Milo Speelman fighting with Martin Hobson. Milo Speelman, I think another driver out of position, maybe not his favorite track, but he normally is around about the top 5 positions, and he is well off of that at the moment, stuck behind Martin Hobson.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, you can get stuck behind drivers, and it's not always their or your fault. So it's just one of them things, and I'm sure he'll be looking to gain up.
As we look a little bit further back, then Sven Merckx pressurizing Samuel Santos. This could get feisty. This is very, very close. Into the chicane they go now. The inside is very much favored here. Sven Merckx going to try a late launch. He is going to get alongside, but is he going to be able to make the corner? No, he is not on the grass. He still is on the inside, but that move eventually won't come through because he went a little bit too deep into the corner, caught the grass, and that is his move done. Meanwhile, Stephen Bird still leading the front of the field. That gap now up to 0.5 of a second, and it's Daniel Setchley pressurizing John Sylvester. Can he get through into P2? Because if he can, he is going to be looking to try and overtake Stephen Bird as well.
Yeah, definitely. So John Sylvester's going to be looking in his rearview mirror now and wondering where that championship leader is. And because obviously, like you said, well, he is the championship leader and he will be looking to keep that lead and win the championship. It's always difficult, though, when you've got the championship leader behind you because you're stressing, like, where is he? Oh, my God.
Well, as the championship leader, don't you think that you will take it a little bit more easy? Of course, we know that Daniel Setchley is someone who wants to win every race. But don't you take it maybe a little bit more easy to, in order to because, I mean, P3 is a very good position, as we get in the chat. Mornings Heister, no grip on the white line, so that is what caused it. We do see a lot of drivers go out on the white line, though. Maybe I think that's just a first lap incident. Cold tires, white line, no grip, like he said. But it's just a case of, do you consolidate that third position or do you go for it?
I mean, I would probably, if I was him and the championship leader, I'd probably go for it because I know that I've definitely winning the championship. Well, not definitely, but like I'm in for a shot for winning it because I'm leading the championship. So why not get the race win as well, you know? And if he safely does it, then it'll be good to watch and see that that he'll have an even bigger gap because P3 gets a bit less points than P1, so you'd want to, you know, keep the points going up, and the more he can get over his championship rival, then the more, you know, he's going to be happy with and comfortable.
Yeah. Although I look now at the gap between Christian Novak and Ivan Bremer, this gap is increasing a little bit. So Milo Speelman also not even stuck behind Martin Hobson anymore. He has dropped back. So Milo Spillman really struggling for pace at this track, it seems like.
Yeah, every driver has their different tracks, you know, that they're more comfortable with or quicker at. So yeah, this might just be a track for Milo Spillman that he's not too happy with.
Of course,
And
like you said, everyone has their tracks. Go on, you wanted to say something?
I've just remembered, Dan, that Stephen Bird is actually the championship rival for Daniel Sedgley, so that's probably going to want to make him win even more.
Oh yeah, it's very close at the front of the field now. John Sylvester closing up to Stephen Bird. Is he going to go for a move into Island Bend? Not a corner to try it. It's difficult to go through one by one because you have a lot of understeer in these MX5s. Into the hairpin now. He's going to try it. Not really. And now he's under pressure again from Daniel Sedgley. So switching from attack to defense can happen really, really quickly in these cars, as you can see. Because now he got that gap back a little bit. And into Britton's now. Looking to get a good exit. To try and attack Stephen Bird into the next chicane. 310s is just a little bit too big of a gap, I think. For this small straight they have.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, when you're defending, you automatically lose a tenth or two to the car behind. Because you're trying to, you know, block. Well, both of them will be. Stephen Bird and Daniel Sedgley will be losing time. Oh, and that was nearly contact there, Dan.
Between Steve Lowe and Miles Owens. Beautiful move by Steve. Up the inside of Miles. Miles struggling for grip. Overshooting the corner, really. It looked like Steve Lowe braked later. But then Miles Owens still overshot the corner. You can take a look at how it happened here. And here we're going to see it again. Look. Steve is going to brake later, as you can see. But Miles still struggling to keep the car on the track. And then he goes really, really wide in the second part of that chicane. That is moved on. Steve Lowe up into P10.
Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, you know, wait, what was I talking about again? I've forgotten.
Well, we'll move on to the action then. Once again, coming off turn one, gap already back down to almost less than 1.5 tenths. It looks like the last sector and the first sector are for John Sylvester. Now he has the exit. Can he go for a move? Is he going to try it this time? He is into Island Bend. It's difficult to go through here side by side. Stephen Bird wants to keep his car in one piece. He does have the inside for the hairpin now. Is he going to keep it there? Yes, he is. Now he will have the advantage then into Britain's. They go. Can they keep it side by side? No. Daniel Sedgley will now look to attack John Sylvester, but he gets attacked himself by Teno Rodrigo. This is absolutely amazing racing at the front of the field, Jake.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was very, very close. It looked like there was almost going to be contact, but obviously these are good racing drivers, so there wasn't any. But yeah, it definitely, like I was saying, you know, you're losing a tenth or two as we now have five MX5s all in the line for P1 by looks of it.
Miles Owens, though, again in a fight with Steve Lowe, back into the chicane. Is he going to keep it around the outside this time? Yes, he is. Brakes later than Steve Lowe. Can he make the corner this time? Yes, he can. And that is, again, Miles Owens up into P9. Why he's now in P9 and Steve Lowe still in P10, I don't really know. What has happened? Has something happened to someone? Iwan Bramer, he has got off the track. What is he up to? Oh, it already happened there. This is the one I wanted. Here it happens. Into Britton's. Is he going to catch the inside wall? Yes, he is. That is so easy to do. And that is Iwan Bramer. His race done.
Yeah, that is a very easy mistake to make going through that corner because that wall is just so close to the actual racing line that you take. So yeah, it's a sad we've got now 2 out of the race, but you know, hopefully he can bring it back in race 2.
Get once again down to 1.5 tenths at the front of the field. Into Druids they go. I think it's this one is Druids. Yes, it is. Can he make a move now into Highland Bend? He's going to stick behind this time round. He pulls out his nose really late. Tries to offset Stephen Bird. Into the hairpin they go now. Is he now going to try and get the inside? He is. Then Rodrigo and Daniel Sedgley though behind that side by side. And Teno Rodrigo has to watch out that he doesn't lose a position to Christian Novak as well. Because he's looking to pounce when Teno Rodrigo is of course out of position when he wants to attack Daniel Sedgley. Daniel Sedgley though managing this very well, as we saw Steve Bird Going a little bit wide there on exit. John Sylvester really close once again into the chicane. Is he going to be able to do something? I think he's just a little bit too far back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but once Stephen Bird and John Sylvester start defending again, fighting, then Daniel Sedgley could be in with a chance to try get both of them. Because when you when you are defending and fighting, the car behind immediately gains like a tenth or two on you because you're taking alternative lines to the normal one that you would take to try block the guy behind you or defend or attack yourself. So it's one of them things where once they start fighting again, then Daniel Sedgley could be in with another chance.
I think that the fight at the front of the field is now again down to 2.5 tenths. But Christian Novak here pressurizing Tenuk Rodrigo. As we know, Tenuk had quite a eventful evening last time out. Gap at the front though, very, very close once again. Into Droots they go again. And it's very, very close. We've seen this a couple of times now. And I think that he's just a little bit too far back to try it. He's going to have to try the outside on John Sylvester and make the move up the inside of the hairpin. Is he going to try it this time round? He's going to try and carry as much speed through the corner as possible. Stephen Bird defends the inside. That is going to put him off on the exit. Can he do something into Britain's maybe? Not really, just a little bit too far back. The exit, we saw that John Sylvester's most of the times quicker through here. As we see this time round, Stephen Bird actually gained some time on him. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Tenuk Rodrigo side by side with Christian Novak. Who's going to come out ahead? I think into the chicane. Tenuk Rodrigo has this one. Oh, so close. He pinches him to the inside. Great racing from both drivers. Big respect there to each other, leaving each other enough room. Tenuk Rodrigo pinched Christian to the inside, but left him just enough room to work with. And Tenuk Rodrigo is up into P4. But this fighting, you see, Jake, has now lost them the gap to the leaders. As I think we're already on the last lap. 15 minutes is the race. 5 seconds to go. And we're on the last lap. Stephen Bird is going to come around the last corner. Can he keep John Sylvester behind him for one more corner? Yes, he can. The exit onto the straight is very, very close. The slipstream is gonna tell us everything. They're side by side coming to the line. And it's 73 thousandths. That is the gap between Stephen Bird, who gets the win, John Sylvester second, and Daniel Sedgley third. And once again, race one, Jake, did not disappoint.
No, definitely that was brilliant racing, especially side by side at the finish. So I'm looking forward to see what these drivers can do in race 2 if that's what we got in race 1.
We have the result now on in for race 1. We're gonna get them out of screen for you. And Jake, this one is for you.
Okay, after that exciting race for Heat 1, we have Stephen Bird and John Sylvester, P1 and 2, with just 71 thousandths of a second in it. Third is Daniel Sedgley, the championship leader in the number 29 car. Fourth goes to Tenuk Rodrigo in the number 1. Fifth is Christian Novak. Sixth, Martin Hobson. Seventh, Milo Spielman. Eighth, Thomas Berling. Ninth, Miles Owen. 10th, Steve Lowe. 11th, Sven Merckx,
yes.
Yeah. 12th, Samuel Santos. 13th, Aaron Hobson. 14th, Ewan Bramer. 15th, Martin Hobson, who are the two that were out of the race.
We saw the incident from Ewan Bramer. Sadly, I do not have a replay for you at this moment in time. But catching the inside wall on Britons there is so easy to do. And it's a mistake that I think we all made at least once when we've raced here.
Yeah, definitely. Not that I can remember my mistake, but I think I've done it before at some point.
No, you never make mistakes. That's the thing.
Oh, no, yeah, never.
No one knows, but you're actually an elite driver and you never make mistakes.
Yeah, I'm on point every single time.
Exactly. He also always drives quality lap times. Because once he's put down a lap in qualifying, that is why his first lap time is always so important. He will do that lap time to the 1,000, always the same. That is how perfect Jake Smedley is. No one knows, but it is definitely the case. Trust me.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Especially when you're like 5 seconds quicker than me at Le Mans, you know, but we ignore that.
exactly. No one has to know. As James in chat says, Marnix Heister excuses. Well, it is definitely an excuse. I agree with that. But if the excuse is correct, then it counts, doesn't it?
Yeah. The excuse is the one that's not proven.
Because at
I
the end
always
of the
say.
day, as he is now,
As someone's doing donuts.
that is Marnix Heister. I don't know what he's celebrating. Maybe that he didn't spin out of the pits. No, that is very rude. I'm sorry, Marnix, if you watch this back. Maybe to get his rear tires up to temp then. Oh, is he going to send it flying? Yes, he is. Into the mountain. Oh, that is a very interesting shortcut. That might be a new fastest sector.
Definitely fastest sector 1.
The thing is, he couldn't continue because he was upside down. If he can manage to keep
Yeah.
the car pointing in a straight line there, that might be a new fastest with an MX5, a new track record.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if everyone did that around the track for race 2, you know, we might even get like a 59-second lap time.
Exactly.
Just jump off the track.
We will see some suspension damage at the end of the race, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But who cares, you know? It's for our entertainment.
Exactly. We do have a reversed top 10 grid in race 2. And a pit stop, 30 minutes, so strategy is going to come into play as well. We saw, of course, like I said at the beginning, last week proved to be difficult on strategy when Milos Speelman came to a stop 100 meters before the finish line. As he's going to do exactly the same thing again. Is he practicing for a shortcut maybe? An even better shortcut. Is he going to land this one? Yes, he is. Continue, my friend. No, he can't. Suspension is broken. Anyways, we saw last week that strategy can be a difficult part. Tell us how people can manage that.
Well, if you start with a set amount of fuel at the start, and then obviously you have to pit, well, you got to be thinking, how much have I used? Like, say you're like 20 minutes into the race for race 2, you got to be thinking, my fuel's getting really low now. I should probably pit. But say your championship rival, so say it's Steve Bird, and Daniel Sedgley, say they're racing for P1 together. So I don't know, Steve Bird's P2 and Daniel's P1. Steve Bird's going to try to, you know, undercut maybe Daniel in the race. So, you know, it all comes down to what position you're in, and have the guys ahead of me pitted. If not, then I'll keep going and try and maybe undercut them. It's what I tend to do. I tend to pit the latest I can, because then, you know, you've gained as many positions as you can, and you've pitted, and then it just doesn't affect you as much when you come out of the pits.
Yeah, well, we have in chat a little discussion going on. Are you saying that if an excuse is true, then it's not an excuse? No. I'm saying that the excuse is something that is proven to be the case, so the excuse is correct. Not that the excuse is an excuse for what happened. Anyways, we have the grid for you for this race. Steve Lowe in first, Miles Owens in second, third, Thomas Burling, Milos Speelman fourth, fifth, Martin Hobson, sixth, Christian Novak, then Rodrigo in seventh, eighth, Daniel Sedgley, ninth, John Sylvester, Stephen Bird in 10th, 11th is Sven Merckx, 12th, Samuel Santos, Aaron Hobson in 13th, Ivan Bremer in 14th, and starting last on the grid after a terrible race one, excuse me, is Marnix Heister. He will be looking to keep his car clean. As we go now to the 5 red lights on your screen. Steve Lowe starting from pole position, heading us away. 5 red lights are on. They're on, and we are underway for race 2. It is Miles Owens with an absolute banger of a start. He is already up into P1. Steve Lowe, not the best start, but it was Miles Owens with an absolute flyer to get underway. Behind that is Martin Hobson side by side with Milos Speelman. Into Druids, who's going to come out ahead? I think it will be the outside line, because that is of course favored through to keep the speed there. Martin Hobson going to try and keep the inside, and he touches him, and that is a big accident into Druids. Milos Speelman already out of the running. Martin Hobson touches him around. And he will not be happy with that. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it is Steve Lowe running away together with Miles Owens. A little bit further back, Henrik Rodrigo side by side coming into the hairpin together with Martin Hobson. Martin Hobson, is he going to lose another position? Hopefully he doesn't murder anyone. Oh, to the outside, he pushes him wide. Oh, another death. Oh no, another crash. And who is already involved in that? Daniel Sedgley got a tap in that as well. And I think Marnix Heister, Aaron Hobson, and Sven Max involved in that as well. And that is Henrik Rodrigo after a good first race. He is already around. Meanwhile, at the front of the field is as close as it has ever been. Christian Novak trying the outside. Thomas Burling, though, around he goes. It's an eventful first lap in race 1 here, Jake.
Race 2, Dan. And yeah, it's just, there's crash after crash by the looks of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know what's gone on with the drivers. Maybe they've, you know, had a bit to drink or something. But yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy start. Miles Owen now leading. Christian Novak up 3 positions, and Stephen Bird up 4 in 6th place. So Daniel Sedgley is currently ahead of Stephen Bird. So probably Steve is going to try get ahead of Daniel Sedgley, who is his championship rival.
On the left hand side, you can see your losers and gainers. At the front of the field, it is Marnix Heister who has gained the most positions out of that. P9 he is in right now, looking to make up for that lost first race. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, the gap between Steve Lowe and Miles Owens is down to under 0.3 of a second. He's going to be looking to try and attack maybe into Island Bend. It's going to be really close. Also, Christian Novak pressurizing him from behind. These 3 are really close up the inside. He's going to defend it though, because he was never close enough to try something. That might have ruined his momentum. And it's Christian Novak now around this outside. Miles Owens going to defend the inside, so he will have a car ahead of him to pull him out of the turn. He does so. Christian Novak though manages to stay on the outside. They do touch in a straight line. Come on guys, keep it clean in a straight line at least. Into Britain's. Very easy to touch that inside wall we saw. But they do keep it clean this time round. Aaron Hobson, though, in a fight at the head of this group. Marnix Heister, though, looking to get past Aaron Hobson. Is going to be able to do so into the chicane. He's definitely going to have a look. He's going to go for the move. Not really. Remember, those are teammates, technically. They're of course, all privateers, but they are technically teammates sponsored by the same team. And they are from the same team, of course, but so they will be a little bit more easier with each other. As Christian Novak now, he's going to try and overtake Steve Lowe. But Steve Lowe doing an absolute stellar job to keep Christian Novak behind him. Although now Christian Novak has to run into the last corner. The inside very much favored here, but the outside can get a good run. He's going to try and cut back. Not really able to do so. Martin Hobson now also looking to attack Steve Lowe. He might lose 2 positions into turn 1 here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, when you're attacking or defending, as John Sylvester goes into the pits, you know, you lose so much time to the driver behind you. And there's Steve Lowe going back the last lap. I think it was a bit of a, if I can say, silly move, going to the left to try block Christian Novak. You know, I mean, these guys are really good racers, and hopefully we can see the rest of the race quite clean.
Well, it was all so close in the first opening laps. James says, yeah, man, chaos happening on race 2, definitely. It was almost like race 4 we saw yesterday, James. Just amazing fighting going on all over the field. And, well, some difficult moments for drivers, some chaos involved in it. But at the end of the day, they all got through cleanly, as Christian Novak is now trying to overtake Miles Owens into the first chicane. Is he going to be able to do so? I think this is going to be a move to be done on the outside. If he can keep it there, he will have the inside for the second part. He doesn't manage to do so. He is going to have a better exit. Into Cascades they go now. I might have put those 2 corners, or I might have messed those 2 corners up. I might have switched them around, but we'll go with it for now. Christian Novak Not really close enough. Now, the thing is, he gets a great run out of this corner again. Miles Owens is now going to defend the inside. He's learned from what Christian Novak has done last time round. Is he going to be the latest of the late breakers? He is not. Miles Owens outbreaks him. He will now have a slower run onto the straight. Christian Novak pressurizing Miles Owens here, and it's only a matter of time, I think, before he gets past.
Yeah, definitely. As we see an early pit stop yet again from Stephen Bird. He's now into the pits, which promotes a lot of drivers up the order. But yeah, this is a very, very close racing at the front, and look like almost contact sometimes. But these drivers are pushing themselves to the limits, and turn 3 is a nightmare.
Well, we almost saw a brief three wide moment. Christian Novak now compromising his run onto Island Bend. That has allowed Steve Lowe to get past. He does gain a little bit of time back in the slipstream now. Around the outside, Martin Hobson off Steve Lowe. Is he going to be able to keep it there? Not really. Daniel Sedgley now looking around the outside. Is he going to be able to do something? Looks like he's a little bit too far back, but now his championship rival Stephen Bird has pitted. We might see him pit at the end of this lap to react to that, because this fighting is definitely slowing him down. The slipstream is a thing that you need to take into account. But it looks like being out of all of this fighting is going to gain you more time than the slipstream is. As we see now, Christian Novak looking around the outside once again. And once again, that move not working out. He is going to have a better run into Cascades now. Oh, that is a good run. Miles Owens is going to have to defend the inside. He's too late with defending the inside. We saw that into Cascades. Always Christian Novak had the better run into there. Is he going to be able to do the same thing again now? Miles Owens is going to try to hang it around the outside. Maybe get the cutback. He is still there. The exit is going to be tight though. He will have the better run. Miles Owens, can he come back on the outside? The inside line very much favored here. Can he keep it there? Miles Owens breaking late once again. Can he hang it around the outside? He will have the better run onto the straight. They've been side by side for almost the whole sector now. Turn 1, once again to the right. As I said, Daniel Sedgley into the pit lane, reacting probably to Stephen Bird. Trying to get out of all this fighting. Christian Novak now into turn 1. Finally has that first position. Steve Lowe trying to capitalize on things as well now. He's going to try and go around the outside of Miles Owens, so he might lose 2 positions on the go here. A little bit of a touch there in the straight line. And that ensures that Miles Owens will get ahead of Steve Lowe. But that is some great racing at the head of the field here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's 4 cars in it at the moment, which is just incredible to watch. I mean, obviously, like I said, Miles Owen lost so much time trying to defend from Christian Novak. Steve Lowe was getting involved going into turn 3. But yeah, this is just some great racing to watch from all these drivers.
Definitely, I think that Steve Lowe will try and get past Miles Owens as well. It's definitely very close at the front of the field, like it has been in race 1 as well. The thing that I'm interested to see is, where did Steve Bird get out? Steve Bird has jumped, as we can see, Daniel Sedgley. So the undercut has worked for him. Tires were up to temperature quicker. He was out of all that fighting, and now he is ahead of his championship rival once again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the stream, that strategy is a key thing to try get ahead of your championship rival, and as I think we see MX5 and Ian Broham going at it.
Around the outside goes Sven or Iwan Bremer on Marnix Heister. Sven Merckx with the blue livery behind that. The inside, like I said, favored here, so it'll be interesting to see what Iwan Bremer can do. These 2 teammates, but Marnix Heister looking to gain positions. He is up into P5, gained 10 positions over the course of this race. Of course, people have pitted ahead of him, but it's very, very close. As we see now, Martin Hobson into the pits as well. A lot of early pitters this race. That's not what we usually see.
No, definitely. I mean, it's definitely one thing that they seem to have capitalized on from last race, when Miles Owen finished about 100 meters before the finish line. But yeah, there's definitely, if you pit early, then you're safe for the rest of the race. So that might be what some of the drivers are doing at this time.
Well, as you can see, bottom right, that is the pit stop strategy for the top 8. And currently no one has pitted yet. Sven Merckx coming in hot there. But luckily, keeping out of the back of the car from Ivan Bremer. Tenok Rodrigo on the back from Sven Marks as well. It is crucial that they get past them as fast as possible to make this undercut work, because you want to be in clean air if you want to be able to make this work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously you can't overtake someone if you're directly behind them. So you know, the trickiest thing is, especially since we've got like 4 or 5 cars in the fight here, pulling out from the slipstream, I find, Dan, is always the hardest thing to do, because, you know, you've got 2 other cars behind you, you've got 2 cars in front of you, you're trying to overtake this guy, and, you know, if you come out of the slipstream, you've lost a bit of speed just from, you know, because the slipstream is such an advantage in these cars. So I feel like coming out of the slipstream is something very difficult to do, and you lose quite a bit of time from it.
It's like you hit a wall, some drivers sometimes say. Ivan Bremer, though, looking up the inside of MX5, he saw that, got out of the way, but Ivan Bremer might have this position done here. He will have the inside for turn 1, and we saw with the fight at the front of the field that is very much the line you want to have. But MX5 got ahead before they got to turn 1. Now, covering the inside line, Sven Marks also looking to go around the outside of Ivan Bremer here. He has been pulled into this fight as well. Then out 3 wides onto Druids. This is an amazing fight, Jake.
Yeah, definitely. This is very, very close as we go now into turn 3. Not much. They're very, very close, but good thing that they are all keeping it all clean, as MX5 is keeping ahead of that pack, I believe, or is it Steve Lowe?
It is MX5. Steve Lowe is in the yellow and green livery car.
Oh yeah. So now, as we see, obviously coming down to the hairpin, there's all side by side, and there's a 3rd car joining the mix. I believe that is Rodrigo joining in the fight there with Sven Marks as they come now down to. I'm terrible with corners.
Oh, so side by side to Britons.
Go on then.
Is that going to be the move done for Tenok Rodrigo? It doesn't look like it. Sven Marks still ahead, but they've lost some time into the chicane. Now he's going to try and outbrake him again. You can see Tenok Rodrigo wants to get by as fast as possible. He wants to make an undercut work, maybe get into the pits early, because he's faster than I think all the guys ahead of him, as he showed in race 1. Gonna try and go up the inside now into Cascades, though.
Yeah, I mean, pittings is one of them things. It's constantly on your mind until you've done it. You know, they have 1 required pit stop in these cars. They've got just enough fuel that they have to pit during the race. So the pit's going to be on their mind as they are still side by side going through now. And Ewan Bremer and MX5 are now side by side going through onto the straight. On the final straight now. Oh, that was ever so close to contact, but they are still keeping it side by side as we go into turn 1. Can MX5 keep it on track, both of them, as they are very, very close, almost contact. Ewan Bremer keeping it very nice alongside MX5. This is the battle for 3rd, guys, that you're watching on your screens as we go down into turn 1. Very tricky corner to keep if you go side by side, as there's a bit of an off track there. Oh, and that's very aggressive defending from me and Bremer, I have to say.
Yeah, we have a couple of crashes to go over. Milo Speelman is the first crash. This was a little while back. What is going to happen here? Let me see. What has happened here? Did Steve Lowe maybe? No, that is not Steve Lowe. Did the guy behind him miss his braking zone? No. He's just going to go back to the pits. That is a very weird one. We also have Samuel Santos. What has he been up to? Let's see you, my sir. He's also on his own, so it's going to be a mistake on his own, or also pulling over. Is he going to park it? No, he touches the grass on the outside and he goes round. Oh, luckily that there's no one involved in that. Oh, was that coming through? That was very, very close in the end. As we go back to live action, Ivan Bremer still ahead of MX5. Tenok Rodrigo finally got past Sven Marks. We can take a look at how that happened here. Here we go, the move from Tenok Rodrigo into Britons, where he tried it last time round as well. Is he going to be able to make this one stick? Yes, he is the latest of the latest breakers. Oh, so close to the inside wall there. Is he going to be able to make this one stick? Not at the moment. So it looks like.
Well, for the rest of this race, we've seen some very good, clean, but hard
Oh,
racing.
yeah. Hang on there. Sorry to interrupt you. Tenok Rodrigo, an absolute lunge up the inside of Marnix Heister. That was a brilliant launch from Tenok Rodrigo, and he's through into P4 already. Sorry, Jay, continue.
Yeah, that was actually a really good launch there from Rodrigo. But yeah, we've seen so far in this race. We obviously had the incident at the start, but so far the drivers have been doing some good, but clean racing, which is what we like to see so far. Um, as we see now, Rodrigo with the amazing launch on Marnix Heister. He's probably going to be coming back as we have a chat in as we have a question in chat. How long does a fuel tank go in the Mazda? Over 20 minutes? I'm not too sure on the full tank. Dan, maybe you could.
A
Do you know?
fuel tank goes around 1 hour something in these MX5s. But
Wow.
because this is setup wise, we have made it, or the guys have made it, so that you can't do 30 minutes on one fuel tank, so you have to pit. You can't save it, you have to pit. You can save so you don't need to refuel as much, but you cannot save enough to stay out. So fuel tanks go longer than 20 minutes, but in this race they will go around 22 to 23 minutes maximum. As we see now, the first in the top 8 appearing, Daniel Satchley, the first of the stoppers. If he can keep it in clean air, and he has 8.2 seconds of clean air, he might have performed the best undercut ever. Pit lane time, 31.8 seconds for Daniel Satchley. The gap from him to Christian Novak, 27 seconds. So it's gonna be close. I've tried these maps before. It's gonna be close. I don't think he will be ahead at this point, but it's gonna be close when Christian Novak pits.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's quite close. It sounds a lot, but when you're actually pitting, you know, you have to drive through the pit lane at a certain speed, while the others are doing hundreds of miles an hour on the track. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be close, but maybe it'll probably still be behind him.
You're not actually losing those 31 seconds. I have seen pit lane times from Aaron Hobson as well, 35 seconds. So if that is the case, then he will be behind him. I can say that comfortably. Then he will be behind him. But it is going to be close come the end of the race here.
Yeah, I mean, strategy is a big key in these races now, where you have to see when the other guys pit in, and you know, see how's your fuel doing and all that. So it's quite difficult. It's always on your mind until you pit. Once you pit, you're like, oh, I've got enough fuel now, so it's not on your mind. But yeah, pitting's definitely one of the things that, you know, worries the drivers the most, because they know that they lose quite a bit of time in the pits. So,
Oh no.
you know, it's going to be one of them things.
Oh no.
What?
Oh no. Marnix, so what have you been up to? Oh my goodness. Marnix. That is not what you want to be doing, my friend.
Just clipped the inside wall, didn't he, by the looks of it?
And he was having a very good race, but that has destroyed every progress he has made. And James, trust me, I did take into account the fact that you are driving on pit lane this time. Trust me, I did. My maths are correct this time. I know James has some terrible PTSD now when I start talking about pit lane times and coming out ahead or behind. So just want to make sure there. 27.6 seconds is the gap at the moment. That's going to be close. I can't say if he's ahead or behind, but it's going to be close. That is the thing I can say.
Yeah. It's a shame about Marnix Heister. He was running in a very, very good position, but I think he just clipped the inside wall, which was a shame.
Yeah, we've seen 2 drivers do that now, as Milo Spelman says, I just got destroyed. Well, we looked at the incident, and nothing seemed to be wrong there. He just escaped to the pit lane, so I don't know when he got destroyed. As James says, what excuse for that, Marnix Heister? Ooh, Probably a white line somewhere.
The white line elevated and pushed the car off track.
No, it's very easy to do that. You're trying to run as close to these tire walls as possible. And in order to do so, as we can see now, the top two here also running very close to that. We'll go on board next lap with them. And you will see how close they are to those tire barriers. It is so easy to just clip that inside wall. And with the speeds you're traveling at those chicanes, once you touch that wall, your suspension is done for the day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of the easiest mistakes to make as Miles Owen goes into the pits or his pit stop. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the easiest things to do at this track, especially.
The thing is, of course, you want to run, like I said, as close as possible as these guys now come to overtake, I think, Miles Owens. Let's see how far they're going to be ahead. Because the gap before he went into the pit lane, let me quickly check, was 7.4 seconds. So Miles Owens on the pit exit now. He comes out. Where does he come out? Oh, well behind them. What was his pit lane time? Miles Owens' pit lane time, 39 seconds. If we take 8 seconds off of that, then he would be... Oh, he would be so close. He would be right on them.
Yeah, pit stops is one of the ones that cost you the most. There's a Jackknife Racing says, always blame Dan. Dan, what do you think of that?
That is John, I think, in the chat. Well, I will take the blame for that one easily. As we see now, coming into the chicane, into Britain's. Close to the inside tire wall. Close to the inside tire wall. Look how close you want to run. Remember, this could be the battle for the provisional lead here. As the wipers are going on. Is there rain in the air? No, there isn't, because iRacing doesn't have anything.
Maybe just dust.
Oh, look how close you get to the inside tire wall. That is how close you want to run to the tire wall. So like we said, it's very easy to do so. So I think Marnik Seiser was just a little bit too aggressive with trying to get as much lap time as possible. And just, as he says now, just too greedy on entry. And yeah, that happens very, very easily. This is the closest fight at the moment we have on track, together with Aaron Hobson and Miles Owens. Miles Owens will try to get past here. But I'm more interested in this battle. Why? Because this is very, very close. That's one. Christian Novak into the pit lane now. So we will see if he will come out ahead. That's the question. Will he be on pit exit? He's gonna have to be on pit exit closely now, and they have already overtaken him. And it's not even gonna be close. Even Bramer though. What has Christian Novak done? He is still in the pit lane. He's losing positions like it's nothing. Christian Novak in the pit lane, 48 seconds now. Did he get, and I'm speculating here, but did he get a pit lane speeding penalty?
He could have potentially. If he's been in the pit lane for that long, then it has to be. Or he's got damage of some sort.
That could also be the case.
It didn't look like he had any damage on his car though.
Oh, exactly. Christian Novak still in the pit lane. So we will never have known. Martin Hobson though, 7.8 only behind those two. But this is now for the provisional race lead. Everyone has pitted now. So the strategy can go off our screen. It is a sprint to the line now.
It's just over 6 minutes to go. But yeah, this is also for the championship lead, Dan, as you were saying. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see if they can, who comes out on top for the provisional race lead. Yeah, it is going to be a sprint to the line, like you said.
Stephen Bertho looking to snatch that win away from Daniel Setchley. Daniel Setchley got ahead, and we will take a look at how that happened. Let me take a look quickly.
I'm surprised how far apart everyone is.
Well, Daniel Setchley wasn't ahead of Stephen Bird, was he? A couple of laps ago.
I don't think so. No, he was, I think. I think Steve Bird was still trying to get past him.
Did I miss something? I will take a look back at this.
I think it was pit stops.
Yeah, okay. He was ahead. Daniel Setchley then has got past Stephen Bird, because Stephen Bird, of course, performed the undercut on Daniel Setchley.
Yeah.
Because he reacted to it. Come
Yeah,
on,
well, we saw.
Barbie, let's go party. Definitely. He will be looking to do that as we have a pass for 6th place. Miles Owens gets past Aaron Hobson. This is how we did it. Into the last corner. Up the inside. I guess that Aaron is not going to fight this one. Like I said, doesn't fight this one. Lets him past. Tries to stick in the slipstream, I think, for now. And go to the front of the field together with him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been quite. We've had quite distant racing this time out, Dan, compared to round 1, which was the last one I commentated on because I was away for 2 weeks. But yeah, it's quite distant. But I think that's because everyone has pitted early, so obviously they've got their pit stops done, and that's not going to really come into effect anymore. Is Steve Bird trying to get ahead of Daniel Sedgley here, going into the hairpin?
He will try as hard as he can, but he's just a little bit too far away, though. As we have 3.5 minutes to go in the second race. And it's as close as ever for first position. Daniel Sedgley, remember, in first place in the championship. But who's behind that? You guessed right, Stephen Bird. So this is already a championship battle going on here.
Yeah, I mean, we are around round 4. And definitely every point counts in this race. That's why I said Daniel Sedgley will be looking to win the race and defend from Steve Bird, so that he can gain as many points as possible. Granted, Steve Bird just does get quite a few points for second place, but Steve Bird won't be having that either. He'll be wanting to win, and it's all about points in motor racing.
Yeah. The gap, though, has closed quite a lot at the moment, and I hope that there's gonna be an epic side-by-side moment, or that we're gonna run side by side to the line. As we see now, it's getting very, very close. Up the inside, Steve Bird is gonna be able to make this one stick. Yes, he is. He forces Daniel Sedgley wide. Just as I said, I wanted this to happen. They listened to me. Side by side through the hairpin. Now he's going to try and keep it around the outside. He does manage to do so into Britain's now. He's going to try and stick around the outside. Please don't hit a tire wall. Either of them. Braking very, very late is Daniel Sedgley, and he gets ahead once again. The exit, though, now is for Stephen Bird, Jake.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they are still side by side. These are two championship rivals going for the race win here. They are ever so close. Coming down into the hairpin. This is a tricky one because you don't want to clip their tyre barrier, and if you do, that's practically your championship race over. But yeah, Stephen Bird ahead at the moment as Daniel Sedgley gets the inside line. Stephen Bird goes wide a bit onto the grass, but they are still side by side, as I believe we are coming on now to the final lap of the race. So hopefully this continues on, Dan, for the last lap.
Well, side by side through Druids, Cascades, I don't know, one of those two. Still continuing side by side onto the back straight. Is this now going to be a side by side battle into the last quarter? Yes, it is. They have been almost side by side for the whole lap now. And Stephen Bird, though, does have to slot in behind once again, as we see the white flag wave on the side of the track. Our race director waving the white flag side by side once again into turn 1. This is already a championship battle, and this could prove very, very crucial for the championship. Late defense by Daniel Sedgley. We saw that Steve Bird had to stamp on the brakes for a little second there, and he's now going to try and get the exit into Island Bend. Is he going to be able to get the insider? If he does so, he's going to try and put him off again. Side by side into Island Bend. Please get through cleanly. This could prove vital if any one of those two gets ahead at the end of the season for the championship. Remember, only 2 rounds to go. Stephen Bird comes back. Or Daniel Sedgley comes back around the outside. Can he hang around the outside? No, he can't. He's going to look for the inside into Britain's. Stephen Bird has that covered, though.
Yeah, definitely. This is so good and so crucial for the championship. Stephen Bird still ahead at the moment, as we only have a few corners to go now and a few straights. But yeah, Stephen Bird currently ahead. This is for the championship, lead, and not only just for the race lead, but the championship lead as well. Daniel Sedgley is definitely going to be trying to make every advantage he can on Stephen Bird, as we are now we are still on the final lap of this race. We don't have long to go now, though, to see who will be with the winner here at Alton Park. As we are now coming round, says good curb usage there, because that is a curb that you can actually use compared to some tracks.
Onto the back straight then. It's got to be close, Jake. Like you said, can Daniel get a good run out of the last corner? He's going to definitely try and do so. He forces Stephen Bird wide. This is going to be a run to the line like we saw in the last race. It's going to be a little bit more... It's going to be a little further apart. I think Daniel got a little bit of oversteer there. Might he be out of fuel? I think he is out of fuel. And he might lose a couple of positions. No, he doesn't. He's already across the line. But this might have been a perfect stop for Daniel Sedgley in terms of fuel.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, that was very, very close racing, but at least he got over the line. That could have been disaster if we had another remake of last week's race.
Yeah. Everyone else behind that, though. Marnix Heister out of the race again. Milos Speelman out of the race as well. Across the line, though. Samuel Santos could come across the line in P10. P11 and 12 then going to be for John Sylvester. Where is he on the track at the moment? He is going to round off the last corner in just a moment time. And again, a very close finish. But Stephen Bird, this has been a very good evening for him because he has gained a lot of points, I think, on Daniel Sedgley in the championship. We will take a look at the championship right about now. Okay. Here we have it then. We sent the data and now we should have an updated championship standings. Let me take a look. Here we have it. These are the championship points at the moment. Daniel Sedgley is now in P1. Stephen Bird in second. We will go to the results first. But he go with the championship standings there. Stephen Bird though, first in this race, 71. This is already exactly. I just noticed. Stephen Bird though, winning both races, a grand slam for him this evening. 1 second is the gap between Stephen Bird and Daniel Sedgley at the end of the race. Daniel Sedgley ahead of Martin Hobson. Even Bramer behind that. Martin Hobson closing in on those two at the end of the race. It wouldn't have taken long, and the fighting of those two would have taken Martin Hobson into that fight. Iwan Bramer in fourth, like I said. Tenok Rodrigo in fifth, coming back after a difficult first part of the race. Miles Owens in sixth, Aaron Hobson in seventh. Finally a good result for him. Sven Merckx in eighth, Thomas Birding in ninth. He had a difficult start to the race as well. Samuel Santos in 10th, 11th Christian Novak, 12th John Sylvester, Steve Lowe in 13th, 14th Marnix Heister, and 15th Milos Speelman. These are the provisional championship standings because, of course, we don't know if there are going to be post-race penalties applied. 155 points for Daniel Sedgley ahead of Stephen Bird on 150 points. Those two running away with the championship. Tenok Rodrigo, though, a difficult evening for him in third on 111 points. Iwan Bramer in fourth. Fifth is John Sylvester, only 2 points between them now. Thomas Burling in sixth on 94. 93 points for both Christian Novak and Martin Hobson. Milos Speelman in 91st dropped down quite a lot, of course, because he had the DNF in race 2. Miles Owens in 10th. 72 points. 70 points then for Samuel. Miles Owens, no, 87 points. Samuel Santos, 72. Steve Lowe on 70 points. Aaron Hobson on 61. Tom Vos not here again this evening. 36 points for Vincent Assam. Josh Valens in 16th on 35 points. 1 point behind Vincent Assam is Marnix Heister in 17th on 33 points. 18th is Stephen Turner on 28 points. And looking a little bit further then is Sven Merckx on 23 and Winston Eckel on 21. Well then, that has been it for the racing this evening. And, well, Jake, we've had some amazing racing. And we're going to look to get the drivers into the commentary booth as well now. Hello everyone, here we are again. Let's look if there is anyone waiting for us. And it is our double winner of this evening. Second in the championship, I think. if SDK is correct, only 2 points behind Daniel Sedgey in the championship now. It's Stephen Bird. Welcome.
Dan, you right?
Yeah, Stephen, you had a very good evening. We can call it, I think, here in round 4 at Alton Park, winning both races, gaining points on Daniel in the championship. Tell us how it all unfolded from race 1 to race 2.
Yeah, it was a good night. Race 1. I don't like being out in front in these cars. It's the slipstream's so powerful. It's hard to defend. So John would give me a tough time all the way through that race, and I cooked the front tyres a bit, but I just managed to do enough to hold him off. Race 2 was a bit like last week, a bit of a nightmare. I pitted early, but for some reason my crew chief is giving me some seriously wrong fuel numbers. so I had to drop behind.
Daniel.
Anyway, Daniel, yeah, sorry, and literally save fuel for the next 10 laps, and then just attack him in the last 3. To be honest, so,
How much were you under fueled?
It said 3 liters, but to be honest, I would say probably two laps or a lap and a half. Okay. So I was literally lifting and coasting into most of the corners all the time behind Dan, and it spluttered across the line. I think he ran out of fuel about 100 yards behind me.
Yeah.
But yeah, close race.
Yeah. Well, we have Christian in the chat, and Christian, of course, if you want to come for an interview, of course, feel free to jump into the waiting room. We'll get to you. But Christian Novak, it was looking close with your pit stop time. Of course, you performed an undercut on almost everyone, but the gap to Tinuk or to Christian was 28 seconds when he pitted. He got a pit lane penalty. Do you think that with 28 seconds, he maybe would have come out ahead of you?
I would probably think so, because I could see that he was going flat out. You could see by the relative and bits and pieces that he was really putting some good lap times in. So I don't know if he'd have been going fast enough to, because surely he'd have had to take more fuel, so he'd have been longer in the pits. But certainly his pace was better because of the fuel saving, I suppose, more than anything.
Yeah. Well, the last round is next week at the Charlotte Roval. The championship, were you busy with it today, and are you going to be busy with it, of course, at Charlotte, or is it just another race for you and you'll see where you end?
No, it's just another race. The championship, we'll see how it goes, and I might do a bit more practice next week if that's the case. Maybe work out the fuel, but just looking forward. To be honest, this is my favourite track on the calendar, and my local track. I'm only an hour down the road from Alton Park, to be honest. But Charlotte's not a bad one for me either. But that's going to be down to the slipstream. It's all going to be down to the draft. So just a case to see what happens.
Yeah. Well, Stephen, congratulations on both wins in race 1 and race 2 this evening. Thank you for taking the time, and good luck out there in the championship battle next week.
Thanks very much. Cheers, guys.
Well, that was Stephen. Like he said, a very difficult race for him in race 2 because he had to save. A man who had a difficult beginning of race 2, but managed to come through, I think, a P5. Was Tenuk, welcome.
Hello.
Well, tell us, Rodrigo, how was race 1 and race 2 for you?
Race 1 was alright. I did lose a position on the start, and I just couldn't get that back. The gap was just constantly staying within about half a second to, I think it was Daniel ahead. But yeah, that was a difficult race. Race 1 was alright. Finished P4. Race 2 was a bit different. I've just looked at the replay now, and it seems like I've just been collected by someone coming into the first chicane. So that's what sort of spun me around. And yeah, it was just a case of putting in some consistent good laps for the next half an hour, I guess. And yeah, I'm quite happy that I brought it back into P5.
Yeah. Race 2, we saw a lot of drivers, I think, under-fuel a little bit. Was that some of your tactic as well to try and gain time after the incident?
No, I put the same amount of fuel as I did last race. I put 7 laps in the car. 7 liters in the car, and it was overfueled. But I just wanted to be really safe with that because, especially last race we saw people underfueling their car to the point where they were not even finishing the race. So yeah.
Well, next week, Charlotte Roval, a track that is really depending on a lot of tow. Qualifying is going to be difficult, of course, there, but the race in the tow, is there already something that you've worked out you were gonna do?
I've never driven Charlotte before, so I'm gonna have to learn that before next week and see how it goes. But yeah, I will have to sort of look into that. Maybe do a bit of online racing around there because next week is Charlotte, I think.
Yeah, next week. Well, Rodrigo, it's been amazing to see you go out there on track. Sad of the incident in race 2, but you came back strong. Thank you for taking your time, and good luck out there next week at the Charlotte Roval.
All right, thank you.
Well then, Jake, I think that is everyone for us tonight. Christian Novak not coming in for an interview, sadly. I would love to hear from him because he had that penalty, of course. He said it in chat that he had a pit lane speeding penalty. So I was right with that. I've seen that happen with James as well a couple of times. But yeah, very, very close there.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a good race. Good race evening for us all. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Charlotte because that is a bit like Daytona, which was the last race in Peck. So it's a bit oval. It's part oval and part road course. So it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers handle that.
Yeah, definitely. Qualifying there will be an interesting one, I think, because you're depending so much on the slipstream.
Yeah, I mean Charlotte's going to be one next week where it is like you've said, Dan, mainly slipstream that you're counting on. So we may see like a whole line of cars lined up during qualifying, trying to get all the advantage. And but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one next week.
Yeah. Well, Jake, thank you for, of course, being here with me. Everyone
Yeah, no
else
worries.
for watching, thank you. It's been an amazing evening once again. We saw some great racing. Again, the MX5 League, the Platinum Racing League MX5 League has once again proven to be a very competitive league, and once again given us some amazing racing. Thank you all for watching. It's like I said, been amazing. Thank you all, and until next time, stay safe